The MMA world is in absolute chaos, and it's all because of one man, Alex Pereira. The reigning light heavyweight king has done it again, shaking the entire fight community with whispers of another jaw-dropping move. Fans and analysts can't stop debating what's next for the Brazilian powerhouse, as speculation swirls around a potential showdown between Pereira and rising star Carlos Ulberg. This fight, if it happens, could redefine the meaning of striking in modern MMA. On one side stands Pereira, the embodiment of raw power, a man who only needs one punch to change the trajectory of an entire fight. On the other, Carlos Ulberg, the technical prodigy from New Zealand City Kickboxing, whose sharp, calculated striking mirrors that of his teammate Israel Adesanya. It's brute force versus precision, chaos versus composure. And the MMA world can't seem to agree which one would prevail. During a recent podcast, UFC veterans Gilbert Burns and Renato Moicano weighed in on the hypothetical matchup, and their analysis set social media on fire. They described Ulberg's technique as surgical, his movements clean and methodical, every strike thrown with intent and purpose. Pereira, in contrast, is the wild card, unpredictable, violent, and capable of ending careers with a single left hook. Moicano even admitted that Ulberg might be the most technically gifted striker in the division right now, while Burns reminded everyone that Pereira's knockout power transcends divisions. What makes this potential clash even more fascinating is the timing. Pereira has been openly teasing a move to heavyweight, something that would make him the first man in history to chase a third UFC title across 3 divisions. But the UFC seems to have other ideas, hinting at a possible interim light heavyweight title fight between Ulberg and former champion G. Prochazka. Fans are already salivating at the thought two unorthodox warriors colliding for gold, while Pereira plots his next conquest in the land of giants. Meanwhile, Magomed Ankalev's camp insists that there's no real animosity between him and Pereira, claiming that their heated exchanges were all for show. But if you look at Pereira's social media, you'd never know it. He's been taunting Ankalaev relentlessly, firing off cryptic posts and mocking captions that make it clear he's not letting it go. For a fighter who thrives on intimidation, Pereira's online warfare is just another extension of his psychological game, and it's working. The fans are eating it up. Yet the more this story unfolds, the clearer it becomes that Pereira is in a league of his own. While others debate who deserves what, he's already looking beyond, eyeing challenges that few fighters would even dare to consider. Moving to heavyweight isn't just about belts for him, it's about legacy. It's about proving that power, precision, and willpower can transcend weight classes. But as much as fans would love to see him test himself against giants like Tom Aspinall or John Jones, many still crave the striker's duel between him and Ulberg, a technical masterpiece that could be remembered for generations. As the MMA world debates Pereira's next move, another storm brews on the other side of the octagon, this time involving one of the sport's biggest names, Conor McGregor. The Irish superstar has once again found himself in the headlines, but not for a knockout or a comeback fight. Instead, McGregor has been handed an 80-month suspension for failing to comply with UFC anti-doping protocols. It wasn't for a positive test, but for repeatedly missing whereabouts filings 3 times in 1 year, to be exact. Under the rules, that counts as a violation. This means McGregor won't be eligible to compete until March 2026, dashing hopes of a 2025 return. Initially facing a 2-year ban, his cooperation and transparency during the investigation earned him a reduction, but the damage was already done. According to insiders, McGregor accepted full responsibility, explaining that his chaotic schedule made it nearly impossible to maintain accurate whereabouts. Unlike most athletes, McGregor doesn't live a predictable life. He's constantly flying across countries, managing businesses, filming commercials, and navigating the spotlight. Still, the rules are the rules, and this time, even the notorious couldn't bend them. Chael Sonnen, never one to hold back, broke it down perfectly. "You have to let them know where you are, every hour of every day," he said. "That's the rule when you're in the testing pool." Sonnen acknowledged how nearly impossible that is for someone like McGregor, whose life is anything but ordinary. But he also noted that this suspension doesn't necessarily derail McGregor's long-term plans. The Irishman has hinted at fighting on the highly anticipated White House card in July 2026, a spectacle that could mark his official return to the cage, while McGregor's suspension dominated headlines. Another grudge match began to take shape between Ilia Topuria and Paddy Pimblett, two of the UFC's most polarizing stars. Topuria, riding the momentum of a massive knockout win over Carlos Ulberg, it's confirmed that his next fight will be against Pimblett this time. It's personal. In a revealing interview, the Georgian star opened up about his deep dislike for Paddy, referencing old comments Pimblett made about the Georgian tragedy of 2008. For Topuria, those words cut deep. Turning this fight into something far beyond rankings or paychecks, those words will always infuriate me, Topuria said, his tone sharp with conviction. Now it's time for him to pay for them inside the cage. Dana White reportedly supported the matchup, seeing it as a perfect blend of animosity and entertainment, everything that makes the UFC's marketing machine thrive. Topuria, meanwhile, made it clear that this fight isn't business, it's vengeance. After dismantling Oliveira in spectacular fashion, he plans to do the same to Pimblett, only in a far more brutal fashion. If that wasn't enough to satisfy fans hungry for action, the bantamweight division has its own drama brewing. Former champion Pereira has officially accepted Dvalishvili's challenge for a December showdown. This fight is more than just a rematch, it's redemption. Their first encounter was a nightmare for Jan, a one-sided beatdown that left his career in limbo. But this time, Jan insists he's coming in at 100%, stronger, sharper, and with vengeance on his mind. For Dvalishvili, though, this is just another day in the office. The reigning champion is chasing history, aiming to break the record for most title defenses in a single year. With an iron chin, endless cardio, and a style that drowns opponents in pressure, Dvalishvili has already cemented himself as one of the most relentless fighters in UFC history. Some fans are even calling him the machine for good reason. He never stops moving forward, never takes his foot off the gas, and never loses sight of the belt. There's even talk of a future super fight between Dvalishvili and Alexander Volkanovski, though the champion himself remains humble, insisting that Volk is too good for now. Instead, he's focused on continuing to build his legacy, one defense at a time, showing the world that dominance isn't about talk, it's about consistent, calculated destruction. From Pereira's earth-shattering power to McGregor's suspension, from Topuria's personal vendetta to Jan's redemption arc, the MMA world feels like it's spinning faster than ever. Rivalries, controversies, and comeback stories are colliding in a way that feels cinematic. And fans can't help but be drawn in. But what about you? Which storyline are you most excited for Pereira's next challenge? McGregor's long-awaited return, Topuria's grudge match, or Jan's shot at redemption? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. And if you love staying updated with the most dramatic moments in combat sports, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications. The fight game never sleeps, and neither do we.